Oh my god, Strays is the greatest film I've ever seen. It's perfect in every way possible, with incredible comedy and incredible visual effects. Strays is easily one of the best films of 2023 and one of the best films of all time. Alright, so dropping the satire, Strays has been one of the most ironically hyped films of the year for me. During all the fake hype around Cocaine Bear, I remember seeing a trailer for this film, and it's still one of my favorite trailers ever. When the first line is, I'm gonna bite his dick off. If you have text like from the makers that brought you Cocaine Bear, that might just be one of the best lines in any trailer ever. Also, the cocaine guys are kind of the Spider-Verse guys. Like, Jesus Christ, every single thing about this is literally perfect. Oh yeah, and the trailers themselves are genuinely awful. The whole over-the-top edgy factor made this even better. I love how over-the-top it was. It's genuinely hilarious. I can't get enough of it. So yeah, of course I was gonna see it in theaters. So yeah, let's talk about it. So I think you probably know this already, but this movie is really unfunny, but it's not as bad as you think, I can assure you. Almost 80% of the jokes are just white noise, as the trailer suggests. Almost all the jokes are just, look, that dog said the F word, isn't that funny? Or, look, the dog is doing something adult oriented, isn't that funny? And yeah, it's all neutral emoji reactions for me, but none of it was that annoying to me. It wasn't painfully funny, it was just really boring and drab. But sometimes out of nowhere, they'll just drop some random bombshells that you won't see coming. Some of the short little quips here and there are genuinely so funny and out of nowhere. It might be that funny because of how unfunny most of the film is, but they're still really good jokes in their own. There are a couple bad examples, like the devil in the sky joke, and I thought it was really funny when it was just a mailman. The joke got really stale when they started overusing that joke. Some stuff was amazing, like the narrator dog, which, like, hold on, this part is easily my favorite part of the film. The narrator dog is easily the best part about the entire movie. So I've never talked about it before, but I'm probably the one and only Dog's Purpose / Dog's Journey fan out there. But I love those films. I might talk about them, but I probably won't unless someone wants me to. But then going into Strays, I was cracking jokes about the similarities to A Dog's Purpose, like how the area they were in was a carnival. And as a #1 Dog's Purpose fan, I pointed out how similar it was to the scene in Dog's Purpose. But out of nowhere, Josh Gad shows up as the narrator dog. Now, for those of you that don't know, Josh Gad is actually the voice actor for Bailey in Dog's Purpose and Dog's Journey, and I recognized that voice the moment I heard it. There is no way this wasn't a coincidence, because the whole joke around the dog is that he's narrating what's happening, which, by the way, is the entire thing Bailey does in Dog's Purpose and Dog's Journey. And one of them says that he's a flop, which I think might be a reference to how Dog's Journey completely flopped at the box office because it came out during Endgame for some reason. Also, he's doing the exact same voice as Bailey, and it's kind of hard to describe how funny it is hearing the innocent dog from the Dog's Purpose and Dog's Journey movie talk about burying dead bodies. Also, during the drug trip scene, the narrator dog shows up again for literally no reason. Why is he even here? Why would any of the dogs even think about him in the first place when they're on drugs? There are some other pretty good jokes, like Doug asking them if they saw Marley and Me before attempting to murder them. That was pretty funny. The shameless celebrity cameo was pretty funny with how self-aware they were with it. I thought it was neat, and I'm pretty sure it was a Cocaine Bear reference.
And I'm Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid is seen.
Oh, sweetie, no, of course not.
Cocaine Bear! Give me that one!
And, yeah, that's it. This movie isn't very funny, but sometimes there's just a line or gag that really catches me off guard, and it can be funny sometimes. So, yeah, Strays can be funny sometimes, alright? Okay, glad we got that out of the way. Alright, so I was actually going to try to discuss the story of the film, but then I realized that Strays doesn't actually have any story at all. Like, it's really hard to discuss the story of this movie because of how adult-oriented the whole thing is, but this is really just a bunch of vignettes of these 4 dogs doing stupid things. They would just have 10 minutes of something stupid and then move on with their journey. To give the film credit, I do think it was paced well. The ideas themselves were extremely unoriginal. None of them really worked. They just felt generic. Like, them being at a carnival was pretty boring, and the vet was also lame. Especially the drug trip scene. The visuals are actually garbage there. The visuals of this film are god-awful in my opinion. The dogs look terrible. They look so outdated, and I can't stand looking at them. It just feels really weird. The trip scene themselves look terrible. It's just bad. A green screen with some really ugly ideas present.
I mean, this is basically Evangelion.
Most of the story is a complete mess. There's some other stuff like the vet, but this film loves to rely on shock humor and gross out humor for most of the comedy, and they kind of just threw all of it into the story too, and I really don't like it. It's not that good. Also, for some reason in the story, they'll just halt the pacing at some points that kind of breaks the decent pacing they were going for, where they'll just have like really weird emotional scenes. At some points in the vet, Reggie will just start talking about this emotional speech and he'll start playing emotional music for no reason. They just had this awful joke with, if you've seen the movie you know what I'm talking about, but they have these like terrible jokes, and then Reggie just starts doing this motivational speech, and it's really annoying. I don't know why they were doing that. It's very strange. Sometimes in the movie they'll just take these really strange halts for no reason. By the end of the film, once they get out of the vet, I was ready for it to wrap up. I was fully expecting them not to really show the whole point of the film being that I'm gonna bite his dick off. So yeah, I was not very excited for the ending. So let's just briefly talk about Doug. He's a really unlikable character. He treats everyone like garbage, and Reggie he treats the worst. He barely feeds him, and as the movie goes on, Reggie starts to become more and more aware of how bad Doug really was. And of course the whole plot being about Reggie wanting to bite his dick off. But for some reason towards the end, Reggie decides not to do it and instead apologizes to Doug and just like goes back home. For some reason, Reggie keeps switching back and forth in the movie about his feelings on Doug, but at this point, for the final time, Reggie decides that he doesn't like Doug and he's about to leave. The other dogs actually have this really cool callback where they find the missing Girl Scout that was talked about like 30 minutes ago. They go back to help Reggie right before he's brutally murdered by Doug. Then the other 3 dogs show up to save him. We get a pretty funny joke about Marley and Me, which I mentioned before, and then we get this really gruesome shot of Doug. Well, you know, it's really graphic, but seriously, I didn't expect them to actually show this in the film, even though it was R-rated. It's kind of targeted towards teenagers, so I did not expect them to actually show it in full detail, but they really did. And call me crazy, but it's a little bit satisfying. It has good build-up, and it ends in a relatively satisfying way with him having like this awful pain. I really didn't expect them to show the whole thing, so them showing in extreme detail was nice, even though I never want to see it again. But that extreme detail really helped like feel very satisfying since of how much of an unlikable character Doug has been up to this point. And also, hear me out, the last 30 minutes of this film are actually pretty good. It still has the annoying humor and stuff, but the ending with Doug's entire house burning down to wrecking ball is really cool. The shot of the 4 dogs in the entire house being on fire is unironically great. It's really good. Ending is nice too, seeing where everyone went. It's not much, but for a movie like this, it's a real breath of fresh air seeing actual kind of wholesome relatively normal grounded stuff happen. It's like, you know, an actual movie, which is nice. So yeah, I like the last 30 minutes. It's good compared to the not very good other hour. So yeah, Strays is definitely the greatest movie of all time. I'm glad we could come to that conclusion. The movie wasn't very good. It has a really bad story with a really weak set of characters with mixed comedy that can be funny sometimes, but it's mostly just not good. I didn't have a bad time. I wasn't actively upset watching it. Most of it was white noise for me, but the last 30 minutes in my opinion are actually good. They still have big problems, but they were super fun to watch. So yeah, in conclusion, Strays is a low 5 out of 10. It was so good I don't want to watch it again. And I'm also not watching Gran Turismo. It can keep the honor of being the worst trailer I've ever seen in my life. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to see more movie reviews. I do these every 2 weeks. 2023 stuff coming soon. Thank you for the support and all that. This is an epic outro.